Is it possible to reach your strength goals while training for hypertrophy? We're going to talk about it. While my first priority is being a bodybuilder and putting on as much mass as I can during my off season, I have plenty of strength goals I'm going to work to achieve throughout the year. That being said, I'm sharing with you guys in this video my top tips to optimize your training to both achieve your strength and hypertrophy goals. Now, if you learned something during this video or you implement something that I talk about today, be sure to give this video some love, and if you don't already, be sure to hit that subscribe button in the bottom right hand corner. Let's dive into this topic. So I'm going to break this topic up into 3 parts: training, nutrition, and recovery. Taking it off with training, which in my opinion is one of the most important factors when it comes to training for both hypertrophy and strength. When creating any training program, especially one that's for a long duration and a lot of goals, you need to see the big picture. So for me, I took 2024 as a whole and I broke it down into 4 training phases. Phase 1 is my deadlift, phase 2 is my hip thrust, phase 3 is my squat, and phase 4 is my shoulder press. Now, I chose these lifts because I'm a bikini physique competitor, and getting stronger in these lifts are not only going to help me strength-wise, but also competition-wise, because these lifts include the main muscle groups I'm trying to grow. Each 12-week phase is then broken down into 4-week phases, so essentially a month, building off of each other, trying to get stronger at the end of each month. This allows me to dictate if I'm getting closer to my goal, if I need to change my path, if I need to change my deadline, and allows me to keep myself accountable with reaching my end goal of increasing my PRs. My current training split is as follows. I have 2 lower body days, I have 1 total body day, and 1 upper body day. With deadlifting being my primary focus, I am deadlifting 3 times a week. I'm training my deadlift in 3 different ways. I have my strength focus day where I go in and I focus solely on strength with my deadlift, and the rest of my lifts that follow are more of a hypertrophy volume style. Then I have my moderate intensity day. So this might be a 6 to 8 rep range where I'm moving heavy weight with my deadlift, but is more in a hypertrophy training phase. And then on my 3rd day, which is my most mild day, I train simply volume, more focused on technique and form. This training breakdown allows me to A, focus on strength by putting in the beginning of my lift, B, focus on hypertrophy because I add hypertrophy style lifts after my compounds, C, it's going to allow me to also just improve overall technique, range of motion, which is also going to help with building size. As I improve range of motion, I'm going to recruit more muscle fibers and therefore lead to more hypertrophy in the long run as I improve technique and form. When it comes to eating for both strength and hypertrophy, this is pretty simple. You need to be eating in a calorie surplus. So eating more calories than you burn so that you see the weight on the scale go up. I'm eating in enough of a surplus so that I can gain about 1 to 2 pounds per month. Now, as much as I want this to only be muscle, it's going to be a little bit of fat. My primary goal is to put on about 1/4 to 1/2 pound per month of muscle, which essentially I'll be putting about 3/4 pound of fat. To determine how many calories you need to eat to be in a calorie surplus, you're going to use a macro calculator, which I've shared in the description below, the one I recommend to most of my clients. Even though this calculator is going to determine how many calories you need to eat to ensure that you're gaining weight, sometimes this doesn't always add up, and I'm one of those situations. I consider myself a very hard gainer, meaning it takes everything in me to put just a teeny little bit of muscle on. Therefore, the recommendation from the calorie calculator doesn't always exactly give me what I need. Sometimes I find following the recommendations for weight gain keep me at the lower end of what I need to be. So what I recommend is once you calculate the amount of calories you need to gain weight, follow that for about 2 weeks. See if your weight changes. If you see the scale trending up at 1/2 pound to 1 pound a week, then you're probably right on target. If you see the scale staying the same, I might give it another 2 weeks just to be sure. And if you see the scale going down, then you need to be eating more. In addition to eating in a calorie surplus, you need to be sure you're eating enough protein. The typical 1 gram of protein per 1 pound of body weight might not exactly add up. For example, I weigh 120 pounds. That is going to be very low given I'm eating about 2,500 calories per day. So I recommend eating about 25 or 30% of your total calorie intake in protein, picking up the remainder of your calories between fats and carbohydrates. In addition to eating enough calories and protein, I recommend taking some supplements. I currently am taking creatine on a daily basis. I also recommend taking a protein powder on days you have a hard time hitting your protein target, and then maybe pre-workout every once in a while when you need an extra push in the gym. I just did a video on all the supplements I take and recommend taking for someone trying to build size, and I will tag that at the end of this video. Third and final phase, the one that I don't think enough people talk about, rest and recovery. You do not build your muscles in the gym. You build them when you rest and recover. Overtraining will only hinder your results, and it will hinder you in the gym, both hypertrophy-wise and strength-wise. It's essential to, 1, prioritize your sleep. I recommend getting anywhere from 7 to 9 hours of sleep every single night. This is something I have improved tremendously in the past year, and it has not only helped me see the size I want to see in muscle growth, but also my strength has gone up incredibly. Not only does sleep duration impact strength, but also the quality of your sleep is essential. So making sure you don't have any loud noises while you're sleeping, you sleep in a dark room, the room is cool, 67 degrees Fahrenheit, you aren't interrupted throughout your sleep, you avoid caffeine before going to sleep. All of these factors are going to impact the quality of your sleep. I just did a video on sleep as well, and I'll tag that in the description below. Other components that are going to impact your recovery. Alcohol intake. Unfortunately, alcohol doesn't really do too much for us when it comes to building muscle, aka protein synthesis. Therefore, I am currently not drinking. As someone who's trying to build size, strength, actually work on some endurance goals, alcohol just has no room in my current diet. To optimize your lift, I also recommend warming up and cooling down every single exercise that you can. Warm-ups are going to allow you to go into your lift ready to go, and cool downs are going to help the recovery process start a bit quicker. I can tell you firsthand, making both of these a priority is possible if you do it strategically and you have a plan. If you guys want to stay up to date on all things training, nutrition, and overall just living a healthy lifestyle, be sure to hit that subscribe button in the bottom right-hand corner. Thanks again for tuning in.